हेलो गाइस।
हेलो गाइस।
वेलकम टू अ न्यू एपिसोड ऑफ टेक करियर 2.0, जहां हम बात करते हैं करियर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की और कैसे मिनिमम एफर्ट लगा के आप अपने आप को अपग्रेड और ग्रो कर सकते हैं। सो टुडे वी हैव अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट who recently contributed to the successful hosting of FIFA World Cup in Qatar, where he immensely contributed in the space of network infrastructure and cybersecurity.
So we have the privilege to having Rohit on our show. Rohit has transformed his career starting from telecom, then to network infrastructure, and then to network security. So I welcome Rohit on our show. Rohit, please take a moment and introduce yourself to the guest. Hey Rohit.
Hey Rohit.
You guys.
Hello.
My name is Rohit. I started my journey in telecom field from I think way back in 2009. And yes, the journey started with working in telecom field, starting with mobile core environment, which was primarily working in the integration part, going site to site and working with the field team, working with field engineers and all. So it was for almost 1.5 years that I went through this journey in that domain. And then in 2011, I moved to Alcatel-Lucent in Bangalore location, so started with the again the technology which I was working on that time was femto cells. Way back in 2011, it was a big thing and it was a booming technology, femto cells. And slowly, and then I stayed in Alcatel-Lucent for almost 4 years, and then in 2015, I moved to HP to work in data center environment where I stayed for 1 year. And then 16, I moved to Huawei to work again in the service provider network and working in the IP backhaul, MPLS, and international ISP environment. And in 19, then I moved to Qatar to work with Vodafone. And then, I was working with transport, security, cyber security, and all these things. So here am I now.
Right. Thanks for sharing your journey, Rohit. So just a question. You said when you transformed your career from telecom to network infrastructure, what was the initial trigger point, or how did you get that opportunity?
As I mentioned, in 2011, I moved to Alcatel-Lucent, Bangalore, and I was working with femtosys technology, where I was designing and integrating multiple global customers and the global providers. And then just one fine day, I got to know that in that particular team that we are going to in scope some new project which includes MPLS and IP backbone part. And the good thing was they were also putting a training for 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, so we were 3 people, like including me, that we got an opportunity to sit in the training. The good thing for me was like other two peers of mine were coming with the big experience, and I was comparatively very new as compared to them. So for me, that training was really exciting and something new, and so that's why I was one of the engineers who got into this project as a main or the primary engineer because of my dedication and the focus. Because the other two were quite experienced, and for them it was just another usual project. But for me, this was something new, challenging, and fruitful for me. So since then, like this was a very transformation that took place in 2012, that I moved from the wireless technologies and then to the IP backbone and the MPLS technology.
So the training which you got was like project specific, or also it was a technology training where you were taught about the routing and switching, MPLS, and those sort of technologies, or it was a project related training and you had to upskill yourself on the technical part, like the technology part yourself?
The training scope was only about the project specific details. But for me, to understand each and every day of a training, I have to, separately go and look out in the Google and the other web portals for those technical details. because the training was not covering that part. But for me, as I mentioned, it was something new. So along with the course of this training, I started exploring the technology myself and online books or some just to bug some people, just to tell me about those basic things maybe in the starting.
Right. So alongside, I would say the opportunity that was given by the organization, you had to put a lot of effort to upskill yourself in that technology as well, right?
Yes, to give you more insights, actually there were three headcounts that were supposed to attend the training. That because that's what the setup was, that three people will be getting a training. So two people were, as I mentioned you, that they were set and they were experienced, they were highly qualified and all for the third position was like a 12th man position. Okay, so they would have asked anyone. Okay, so but somehow I captured that opportunity, and even no one believed, or maybe no one was thinking that okay, I would be later on coming as a primarily that taking care of the project. But somehow, just to make sure that seats are booked with three people, so that's why my name was put. My name was there in that sheet. So,
So
but
you became
somehow
from 12th man to opening batsman.
yes. If you say so, yes, it happened like that only because they needed to fill that position of the third person to attend the
Hmm.
training. So that's what the budget and all things were there set up.
So, because in 2012, if I calculate correctly, you would have been like 3 year experience in the industry, right? And
Yeah.
when this thing came on that you have an opportunity to learn MPLS, but the other, if I see from the other side, right, you have to remove yourself from the Femco technology, right, which was very hot at that time because that was, I think, a path breaker in the wireless industry where it was really innovative technology at that time. So weren't you thinking, okay, femtocell is something where I can grow myself, or it could be really like beneficial for me in the long term? And so what was going in your mind when you moved this? Because 3 years is significant amount of time where you spent on a technology and then you decide to move on to a very different technology.
To be very frank, I think that time I was not thinking at all. So that time it was all about getting some opportunity, putting my 100%, and not thinking that okay, technically I'm changing the domain or changing the technology or my expertise. That time it was all about learning something new because, as you know, that service provider network, we don't have only one vertical. We have multiple verticals. Then it makes a blended service provider network. So it was useful for me to understand this left hand side of the network, and then middle part, and then the right hand side of the network.
Correct.
So I covered the left hand side of the network and then access part, and then I was working in the middle, which is the backbone. And then later on, I understood about the other part, which is the right hand side in the ISP network. So it was very organic, I would say. Uh, but it was not a calculated one, but it was more of an organic one. That how I moved. If I think now, yes, it was transformation for me, but unintentionally.
Yeah, I think
Because
one thing thanks, Rohit. So one thing it came to my mind from like Alibaba's founder, Jack Ma. So he once said like initial start of your career when you are in 20s, right? That's the right time you for yourself to experiment. You can learn a lot of things. You have a lot of time. You can take a lot of risk in the career initial stage of time. I think you at that time you wouldn't have listened to Jack Ma, but you did what was Jack Ma later on pointed out. So yeah.
So Rohit, you mentioned that you were working for the ISP network, right? But also you were working in Qatar for, especially for FIFA World Cup. So what was the journey from working with Alcatel Lucent, starting your career into backbone network, and then moving to Qatar for FIFA World Cup? Just share your journey across this.
actually, after, I already told you about that. I moved from Alcatel to HP, then HP to Huawei. And during the same time, I got an opportunity to work with Juniper, okay, as a 3LS expert. When I put a resign in Huawei that time, I got some outside opportunity to work with Qatar. So yes, so that time when I was already under Huawei work under the notice period, so I got this opportunity Vodafone Qatar, and so that time I was having two choices to work in Bangalore itself with Juniper, which is quite a big name for me that time, and to get into it also it was quite a task in Juniper. So then, along with that, I had a parallel opportunity to work with Vodafone Qatar, which was giving me two or three different excitement. One is it was with different work in the different country, and second one was like it was having some different roles as well, along with my usual transport domain. And the third would be like it was a big task that to lose something as big as Juniper. For me, still it is a quite a big company, okay, and a stable one. So yeah, it was really difficult for me to decide that time. Yes, that to either be staying in the Bangalore or Juniper, or to move in Qatar. So yeah, so I had all my calculations. Not just monetary wise, but on the my career and like many things were calculated at times. Somehow I took that risk, and I would say that the risk was quite a fruitful, if I think
Probably
now.
adventurous one, because I think the opportunity to work in such a different scenario with having such a big event would provided you a lot of exposure, right? And it probably would have been very challenging. So just share some of your, you can say, incidents or probably insights from that experience of FIFA World Cup that you had.
I think I landed in Qatar in 2019 May. So I think the moment I landed, so I was on the go. Like we were having ample amount of project just to cater the FIFA World Cup readiness. Because as you must be aware that Qatar is one of the smallest country in terms of the size and the population, and to cater and to manage this big event. This is one of the biggest event I think in the mankind, I would say, to handle those much people to be coming in country. To have that infra about from the I'm talking about the service provider perspective, because our network was designed in a way for to cater our local customers and the consumers, but to go and upscale to that level, it was quite a task. Like, and we were from 19 itself, I would say I was working with FIFA in the mind, that everything in our day-to-day routine job or the projects, big projects, small projects, were all focused on the FIFA readiness. The journey was quite tiresome, but it is fruitful and it was enjoyable. So whenever you are working with something big in the mind, so definitely you have to work a little bit more than the usual. So but it is fruitful and quite a worth that. That was the feedback that we got post FIFA World Cup from the local media, international media, and all that, how success it was for all the people.
Thanks, Rohit.
Uh, are there any instances? Just first of all, I would like to know how many interviews you have appeared when you were transforming your career, whether it was in the first phase or the second phase, and are there any instances that probably you would like to share that probably stuck up in your mind? Yeah.
So the first transformation for me, it was within the organization, as I told you before, that it was in Alcatel. I moved from one particular team to the other team, and once I moved to HP, before that, at least before moving to HP from Alcatel Lucent, so I would have means. Approximately given 20 or 25 interviews with every I think IT company to name, and just for after a point of time it was just a fun. For 3 or 4 months I used to have like every weekend I used to go around, even if there is no call. I used to go into the campus, and there were so many new IT companies were coming, and during that time 2014 or 15, so I used to just go and then sit across the crowd, and then maybe if I lose my interest, then I will come back without even telling HR or anyone. I interacted with many HR, many technical, interviewers or something. So it gave me very, very high level of, or rather a bird view, not just my domain. So for me, it was more about going and facing someone who will ask some questions to me, and then how will I react. So this was my practice for maybe for the bigger stage. Yes, and after I remember one incident about one of the company that I can name it, AT&T. So that time only, like I cleared some rounds and all, and finally the thing came to HR round, and the HR lady called me, and she was asking the usual stuff. I already told the details that okay, I'm getting this, so I need so the asking for me was almost a 2x. So what I was getting that time, so I told like that's what I deserved. But she started shouting on me. Uh, Rohit, how is it possible? Can you just think about any company who will give you this? Because this is not a market standard that you ask for something a double what you are getting or earning. So I had a big fight verbally. Maybe I might be blacklisted still. I had never checked it, but I think I will in their blacklisting list. Yes, so it was quite a verbal arguments, and I think I remember that I think we both disconnected the call at the same time in a very high pitch of the voice. Yes.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing, right? So no one else can decide your fate except yourself.
Yes.
So you are the only one who knows your true worth. No one else would know that. And one should know like how to sell it. It's something which everyone should know, how to sell his own self. All the things with the
So after this interview, did you get what you were actually looking for in the next rounds?
Yeah, actually, to say after that, I got two more companies, not in the same timeline, but the next company I told you like I was going to HP. So in HP, it happened with me two times in my career. That first thing was HP, and the second company was Juniper. That what I asked for the remuneration that time, so after the offer letter, it was more than that. I'm really happy with how HP and Juniper really given me this money, which more than what I asked for them.
Yeah, I have a huge respect for you in that aspect, because I've seen a lot of people. What they do is that they go for interviews, right? And then they get offered like 10% hike, 20% hike, and they just switch. And what happens after 6 months? They get further 20% hike, they switch again. A year later, they switch again. And in this whole scenario, right, neither him or the companies which are hiring him get benefit. But if you know like what you are really worth, if you think that this is something I want, just go for it. Don't go anything below that, because it's not benefit either for you or for the company. Really heads up to you.
But Ankit, I think I will give some insight that even if you're getting 10% or 20% from that jump in your career, but if you know that what you are going to benefit from that new role or the new company, then it is justified. Okay, because you have to calculate everything in your mind. So 10% is not enough money so that you are going there and then working in a similar fashion that you used to work in the current company, that action. But if you know that okay, you are going to get something good out of it, that 10% 20% will not matter in the longer course of a career, then it is justified that you go there and enjoy 10% 20% and learn something new. So overall, yes, longer goal you have to also think.
One thing I would like to clarify here to the audience is that the money should not be the first criteria of changing the job. That's everyone agrees here that money is not the first criteria, because right now in the technology where we are working in the IT industries, right, and where the technology is changing so fast, if you are keeping pace with the technology, right, let's say new technology coming, you are upskilling yourself into that, and if you're working on that, money will come automatically. There, the demand is there for the technology, and supply is less. So
Yeah.
if you see, right, the technology like 5G just came in like 1 year, and where will the industry get in within 1 year? Where will the industry get so many engineers for the 5G? So if you are upgraded yourself from 4G to 5G like within 6 months, you'll get the money. So don't go for money at the first time. Go for the technology, and go for obviously the other factors like work-life balance. That's also important. Thanks, Rohit. So Rohit, if I can ask you to, from your career, right? If I can ask, if you can highlight 5 points where you would like to advise the new people coming to the industry, or still trying to learn within the industry, like 2 year, 3 year career, 5 year experience. What will be the 5 points you would like to suggest to them so that they can build a solid and career, and also a career which has a meaning?
I think I can talk in a very generic way, not going into particular vertical of technology. But yeah, I think I'm not someone who can give the knowledge, but something I can tell from my experience or how I operate in what I operated in last 13 or 14 odd years, right? So first thing I learned is like you have to enjoy your work, no matter what, no matter what. If you don't enjoy, then definitely that is going to pollute your mind, and maybe you'll not be able to focus on the current things. So first thing is you have to enjoy your work. Okay, or if you're not able to enjoy, then you have to make some arrangement that you will start enjoying the work. So because things are not always a fairy tale, right? So you have to some companies or some teams or some work will always be giving you some challenges. So accept that in a very in a good way. So that don't think about that particular company. Think about you as an entity who is still having a career of 30 to 35 years. So think about that. So first thing, enjoy your work, and second thing would be always read not just technical journals or technical articles, but always read, because nowadays this because of the technology oriented things, like you always need to be aware about the things going around, and so that you, because I think in last generation of our I think I would say the parents, the things were changing, in a course of 20 years or 15 years. But nowadays, when we started in 2009 and 10, then things are changing every 3 years or 4 years. So you have to be aware about it. Not second thing is you have to know about the things, but first thing is you have to be aware that how things are moving, because what you are working right now might not be relevant after 10 years. So you have to start working on this by at least making yourself aware. So this would be the second thing. And the third thing would be you have to uh, you have to be always for me personally, in order to be relevant in the company, always try to be how do you say that for me, I always try to give internal trainings.
Okay.
So this gives me two benefits. First thing is that it really brings out better communication for me as a person, which helps me in multiple facets of the life, not just career. And the second thing in that benefit is that when you are giving the training, so you yourself will be devoting some time of a day in making that material. So it really helps you forget about what you're giving it to the company. So this is quite helpful for me. Fourth thing would be for me, it's always uh, to have some passion which you are really always thinking about it. Like for me, it's like to be in music. So I'm not talking about that everyone should follow music, but everyone should have any passion related what you are outside the professional environment.
Yeah.
So always do that so that it keeps you balanced. even if you do it in the when you're alone or you are in the groups, at least this you should keep your 1 hour or 2 hours of a week at least for yourself, so that it refreshes your mind, and that is helpful for your next week. So it can be anything, not just generalizing with music, but it can be any sport that you like. Just play out and then to engage yourself in that, so that it refreshes you from the professional environment. Fifth one is I always prefer or started to do that now is to be with your office peers or the work environment peers. To meet up offline manner, so that it really, I think this is the thing that everyone should do it, that you have to meet office environment people to outside office, that whatever your productivity or your overall productivity, not just mine but overall company productivity increases when you meet or know person on a very personal level, and you do some activities with them outside the office environment. It really helps.
Yeah, and that's why corporations have
And
this
I've seen that.
team building activities, right? So
Team building is very I think I would say
in
it's a
smaller
very
space, but in the similar sense, right?
Team building, I think over the time have diluted
Diluted.
its own purpose. Like it's become again like it's not like it's again the office outside office. So yeah, I'm not very much true believer of very much the team building activity which are conducted by the HR. I think individual, what Rohit is talking about, the individual taking initiative on his own to get a personal relationship with your peers. And that's a very good thing, Rohit. So like in past, like from our previous generation, right? There's a very old saying like ek aur 11, right? So if there are two people, they are like 11. Like that thing we haven't utilized that much in our IT industry yet, because everyone is just focused on his own growth, his own things, task. No one really goes out to his peer, talk to them on a regular basis, right? But if we do that, probably I think it will be add a lot of
cohesion, right?
And one thing which was I would also like to discuss more into detail is your first point, which was enjoy what you do. Because right now what we are seeing is in past couple of years, right, due to the emergence of the social media, right, especially the Instagram and YouTube, right, what's happened is that this 9 to 5 word has been used as a derogatory, right? We see it's been used as a derogatory, like 9 to 5 is like slavery, you have to get rid out of it. No, it's not. 9 to 5, there are people who are working 9 to 5 and they enjoy working 9 to 5 because it gives them stability, it gives them the all the security for the family, it gives the comfort. So it's not like everyone want to just leave the 9 to 5 and they just want to go for a trip to the world, or they just want to do some stand-up comedy, right? So there are a lot of people who enjoy 9 to 5, right? Because that's what they like. And so that's a message, I think, very good, that whatever you do, whether it's 9 to 5, just enjoy it, and you will make a good out of it if you enjoy it. Thanks, Rohit.
All right, Rohit. I think we are almost time. So thanks for joining.
I think we'll continue for like, but yeah, we have to.
It was nice having you. Just last question: are you open for any mentorship support if somebody reaches out to you over LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely. Like I get some time during the weekend. I can just definitely impart some my knowledge, what I have gone through in my own experience. So definitely, yes, I would.
Thanks.
Like that.
All right, Rohit. It was nice.
Nice talking to you, Rohit. Thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.